Hello and welcome to ABW Live. What a game that was. Arsenal v Newcastle. Let's go into the chat box first before I introduce my fellow colleagues. Who we got in there? Got formerly Noza, Daryl Kane. Oh, I should say as well, because I've just spotted myself. New webcam, everybody. New PC. You can now fully immerse yourself in my living room. Stephen Edwards as well. We did have an early donation. We've got Yvonne Akofo, Aaron Ramsey, Prince of Wales. Into top three we go. There's another one in there for Unique 79. Get yourself a charger, my friends. You need it. And just in, Michael Hanneman as well. Simply put, how many points are in that gap now? It's happening again. And right, should actually introduce the other people that I'm with. We'll start the man, the legend, the myth, the button monkey. Danny, how's it going?
Hello, Josh. It's lovely to be here, and I feel like I'm in that room with you. But the only thing is, I never pull my pants up properly, and so I just get sticky bum on your leather sofa. So best I'm not there.
Thank you very much. It is 100% fake cow. So
no cows were injured in the making of your sofa.
No, although I wish they were. They're my least favourite animal. And talking about massive cows, John, how's it going?
It would have gone a lot better if I quickly unmute button faster and seemed vaguely professional. It's going well. I'm also just going to say very quickly, shout out to Dan if you're listening. I'm really pleased that my new work colleague, I've only been working in this new place for a month, decided to tune into tonight's show. If you are listening, we do talk about football at some point, Dan, I promise.
Is he the one who does his own podcast?
He is indeed, yes. Yeah, quick plug as well for Dan's podcast.
Give it a plug.
Happy Friday Eve. That's Friday Eve, Frideve. It's very good. Only 20 minutes. Fun little listen for your morning commute.
Apart from the fact that he tries to reorganise the work week into a 12-hour clock and it doesn't work.
Oh, Danny doesn't. Danny doesn't like that bit.
I like the idea of a decimalisation of time, but that's not happening either.
This is why we don't talk about football, Dan, because these things distract us. Go on, Josh.
Danny, you wouldn't even be up for those decimals of time anyway. Should we start with the game? Because I think one occurred. John, let's start with the lineups. Xhaka and Koscielny out injured. But what did you reckon to that general lineup?
I was pretty pleased with it. Obviously, Torreira was serving his suspension. I think he probably would have started over Guendouzi otherwise. But we still saw Ozil and Ramsey playing together, staying in the team, although the shape was changed a little bit. It was more 3-4-3, tonight than we've seen before, where Ozil was sort of playing behind the two. Iwobi coming in just to get some minutes. So, yeah, pretty strong lineup. It would have been nice to go both the strikers up front. But I think now we're just in that last bit of the season. Don't need to take any risks. We've got such a good record at home. You know, if we desperately needed Aubameyang, he was always on the bench to bring on. But you got this game, we've got the Napoli game. April's quite a hectic month for us. So, yeah, pretty happy with it. Again, as well, you know, I know some people aren't a huge fan of the back three. I'm not hugely in favour of it. But I do think you get so much more out of our wing-backs, and Kolasinac in particular, when we do play that shape.
I've done the mute thing. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I agree, John. Danny, do you think it's a case of trying to get as many Arsenal bodies around Mustafi as possible to try and mitigate any of his brain farts that we've gone with three at the back?
So when people talk about this, I wonder what sort of class you're going to put him in. Is he in the class of the Sigan, possibly the Senderos, the Squillaci, that kind of class, or is he more of the original Juru, the Swiss bloke, and that kind of one? Or if more class you can stick it, I don't think he's that bad. Quite often, if you stick someone decent with him, we've said this quite a few times this season, that if you stick someone with him who knows what they're doing, who's going to marshal him, then he's going to be okay. If he plays next to Koscielny, he's quite often okay, or next to Papi, then he's going to be okay. It's when you partner him in with people at the back that are going to be known for the odd collision, or someone like Monreal, who's not an out-and-out centre-back, or if you stick him with a combination of that lot, he's going to be okay. And I thought it was all right tonight. I mean, I did half expect him to give away a penalty in about the 85th minute when he was running out to the edge of our box trying to shuffle someone out. Then I realised, oh no, that's Socrates, so I could breathe again. But I think you did all right. And we love a scapegoat, don't we? I mean, look at the Ellis Mel's favourite player. Fuck Ellis, by the way. Ellis Mel's favourite player, Aboué. The amount of grief that he got. But you look back at Aboué's career, he really wasn't that bad, was he? We always love a boo boy. And as Elneny isn't playing anymore, it's going to be Mustafi. But I think he does all right.
Yeah, I mean, we could get into the game. My first note after 4 minutes is Mustafi with a mad slide.
Why did you even fucking ask me? You're setting me up there. You're a horrible human being. I'm going to come round and use your toilet. That'll mess you up.
Oh, that's a good thing I've got two.
Both in the back garden because you're a dirty northerner.
Oh, toilet breaks.
We've got 2 toilets.
The world is my toilet. Let's put it that way. And we're just living in it. Let's get into the game proper. We started the game pretty sprightly, do you reckon, John? In terms of how we were generally playing. Something we've not really seen under Emery, certainly after an international break as well.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised, actually, because generally after international breaks, it's not just us, most teams are a little bit slow to get started again. We had a long wait for the game as well. We had to wait all weekend for that. And I'm sure the players, I know there's like some people say like, playing Thursday, Sunday to Wednesday, Saturday, it's not that different. It's exactly the same. But I think that extra day waiting for the Monday night does make a difference. But we started with real intent. Thought Ramsey was really bright. We know that Guendouzi always likes to go forwards with the ball. I thought Ozil was very bright early on as well. Kolasinac, Maitland-Niles all started really well. And you knew what Newcastle were going to do. It was just going to be a case of sit back, defend, try and hit it up to Rondon up front, and then let him get the knockdowns for Almiron and Perez on either side of him. But yeah, I thought we controlled the game pretty well without making too many chances to start off with, but comfortable in possession. Josh, seriously, you've got to sort out the muting, for fuck's sake.
Oh my God.
Jason, why is Jason taking tonight off, Danny? It's disgraceful.
This is what happens when I moan that Jason's hosting all the shows. Then I come in to try and, prove my point, and he's just there pressing mute all the time.
That's a general rule. You're the host. You don't mute. That's how it works.
I was too busy messaging Grant Wilborn in the chat box as well. Yeah, I know, right. Anyway, let's continue. Talking about mix-ups. 12th minute, Rambo scored, but did he? Because Anthony Taylor had other ideas. Danny, what went on here?
I think he was. He may have a holiday home up on the northeast Newcastle shoreline. That he spent £5,000 on a 6-bedroom house, and he doesn't want to get it smashed up because, there was nothing wrong with that. There's a couple of times in the game where he was given. He's given stuff against us. It was getting quite annoying at some point, but I wasn't overly bothered because I knew we were going to do it. Newcastle are awful away from home. We have had so many clean sheets in recent times. Our home form is that like 10 home wins in a row in the Premier League. We were going to beat them no matter what. They didn't really come out of anything after a short. Probably, I'm thinking maybe partway through the second half. No, partway through the first half, they did look to be like they were up for the game, but the rest of the time. It was the Ramirez. Who the bloody is Ramirez? Rafael Benitez. That's it. I knew it rhymed with Ramirez. I'm thinking Highlander. Don't do that. There can be only one. Shh, stop it. Yes. So that's the way he goes. Well, like I was saying to Dom last night when we were doing the preview show, that quite often the way that Newcastle play away from home, pack the defence, don't really try and do much. And the only player they've got that I would be worried about, they didn't bring on until the second half. So But as for why he did it, I don't know. If that had been, I suppose now we are going to start looking at things. If VAR was available, would VAR have ruled that off? That's now the standard that we judge all of these kind of things with, and the people on the TV do it as well. So I don't really think it was worth disallowing, but I think VAR probably would have disallowed it, would it?
Only because the English FA are running it.
They hate us. They've given us 412 games in a month.
Yeah. John, you would have given that, wouldn't you? Because
I'm as the referee's friend on here. I actually said I don't know why he's given a foul there. Then you watch the replay back. He can't see Socrates, who's alleged to foul. Is it Lascelles, I think, or is it Lejeune? I'm not sure. Oh, it's Lejeune, I think. It's not Lascelles. Like, he's got a tiny bit of his shirt, and he's sort of Socrates is pulling on it a little bit. It's really soft. I think if VAR was there, maybe it gets disallowed. But I'm not sure how the ref sees it. So unless the linesman has flagged for it, I've got no idea how he's seen that, and he's just gone by, a defender going down in the box and appealing that his shirt's been pulled. It's the only time I'm going to defend the referee in this game, by the way, chat box, before you start hating on me, because I know I'm going to get tons of abuse, because he was awful for both teams.
I was going to say, referee's friend is like an extra strong breath mint with a shitty aftertaste. My next note was the ref really just playing a really open game for us in terms of tackles going in, things being given that you wouldn't see given in other games. Danny, what did you reckon to his kind of performance in the first half? And it was like an old school English Premier League game, wasn't it, with some of those tackles going in?
Yeah, that's what I like to see, because if Newcastle are going to pack their defence, and the only way we can do is to rough them up, and the only other way to do it is later on in the game, which we saw, was to just tire them out, and we were doing a little bit of both. Kolasinac had a couple of decent tackles that I like to see. There's a few rough stuff going on, like you say, like an old-fashioned English game, but it's a Monday night game. They've got to make it interesting so people are going to watch it, and maybe Taylor likes to be the centre of attention. I know that's very unlike a referee, and John's probably not happy with me now. He's going to unfollow me on Facebook. I think that's how it works. I don't know. But yeah, it's good to see. And the Newcastle players are up for it. They weren't doing a Chelsea or a Liverpool. I mean, if we'd have played like that against Liverpool tonight, I reckon Mo Salah would still be flying around at 10,000 feet looking for the opportune moment to do a dive, and the same with Chelsea and all that lot. So you've got to give credit to Newcastle. They probably come here knowing that it's going to be a tough game. And they put up a decent fight. Personally, I think that with the amount of shots, we only had 4 shots on target, 4 shots at goal, 3 are on target. But their goalkeeper, my God, people have wondered this season why Bayern Munich have turned to shit. That's because Neuer has gone and signed for Newcastle, and he's playing for those. He's just got one of them face marks on, like Fred Barber used to for Peterborough, come running out with an old man's mask on. That's one worth googling. So their goalkeeper, if it weren't for their goalkeeper, we would have won this 6 or 7-0. It'd have been like 2012 when we beat them 7-3. So it's really good. But it did look like we had more shots on goal, didn't it? Oh, it says here 7 shots on goal, 4 on target. I think
got to remember 2 of those are disallowed goals as well.
Yeah, 2 of those. Both of those were a little bit dodgy. Yeah, we've already covered one. Shut up.
Yeah, John. Let's turn to a goal that was actually given for us. Ramsey with the goal. Allowed this time. What did you really make of this goal? And just talk us through it. Lacazette with running into the box and kind of coming out to Ramsey.
It was just, everything good tonight, whilst he was still on the pitch, was going through Ramsey. He was immense. Honestly, he was really good. And I know, like everyone, there's going to be the people who are not Ramsey fans who always say, I always go on about Ramsey and how good he is. But honestly, his performance tonight, it was fantastic. Yes, it's Newcastle, but you still got to do it. In terms of his tracking back, his tackling was great. But just this goal in particular, his back's the goal. He knows exactly where Lacazette is. Lacazette's picked out a beautiful position between the centre-backs. The little flick around the corner is great. Lacazette tries to do the right thing. Touch isn't quite there, and you get a bit of a fortunate bounce out to Ramsey. But it's the smartness of his finish. He doesn't lever it. He doesn't absolutely rifle it in. It's cushioned. It's controlled. He just places it perfectly. And it's almost the first time you saw it, it seemed so slow. The way he connected with the ball, but he just placed it so perfect that the keeper's got no chance. And I think Danny's right. The Dubravka had a really good game for Newcastle tonight, but he had absolutely no chance of getting that. And it was justice really for Ramsey and his performance he put in, because he definitely deserved the goal tonight. He's such a good professional, and it just every time I know I say it every game, but every time I see him put on an Arsenal shirt, it just makes me sad he's going. He's so good. I'm going to miss him. I'm going to tear up.
Don't worry. At some point in a bar in Turin, Szczesny will put an Arsenal shirt over him.
Oh yeah, it's going to happen.
He'll be coming home.
Yeah, Arsenal DNA.
Let's move on to further into the first half. Can we talk about Kolasinac, Danny? His performance in that first half. He seemed to have broken up more attacks than Papastathopoulos, albeit they were our attacks with his kind of final balls. What did you feel was the cause of that?
Well, I did the preview last night. I said one of their most attacking things is going to come from Richie down the. I thought he'd play. He's playing down the left-hand side because he's a left back, left wing back, left midfielder. So I thought that's where it'd all come down. But it seems to be that Perez, who, according to the formation here, they played a 5-4-1 formation. Perez has usually played behind Rondon all season, and he's a striker himself, but he plays as a support striker, and he also plays out on the right. And that's where I thought most of the attack is going to come from them, but it seems to be it was down their right hand side, like saying Kolasinac. But whether Kolasinac was breaking up play down, just people coming towards him as a left wing back, but he was also moving a lot further forward as well. And then a couple of times I noticed that he in the second half he was doing that, and at one point he had 3 people on him, and that seemed to piss him off. And then he turned around and come running back after them. And there was a few times like that, and I thought, oh, there's a yellow card going to come this way. He did seem really up for it. I think they played 2 games for what country is he from?
Bosnia.
Oh, Bosnia and Herzegovina, isn't it? Or have they changed that back to one?
He's the Bosnian bomber.
Yeah,
well, so, you're not allowed to say that, but yeah.
I noticed in the first game, I was checking midweek when the players were playing. I don't think he played in the first game for those. I'm not sure what he did in the second game. He was an unused substitute in the first game, so he's still not tired, because I think there was a few tired legs out there coming towards the end of the game, which is why we made the substitution. Strange being an Elneny on, but I love to see, getting back to your point, which is really hard for me, I love to see Kolasinac doing that, but I do worry that if he starts to do that, he takes on too many people, they're going to start fighting back, and then he's going to roll his sleeves up and start to Hulk smash people. And that's always a worrying point for me, but you don't want to annoy him. But he is showing that his adaptability playing on that left-hand side, where he is actually making more breaking up play, not just getting forward and doing those wonderful crosses that he's been doing. And the more I see him do that, the more I think, well, maybe Monreal is going to be second choice next season if he stays, because Kolasinac has been brilliant.
Awesome.
Did I cover the point? Because my brain was telling me to say all kinds of nonsense that I was just blocking out.
Isn't that just your answers to every question?
Didn't mention cats though, have I?
Not yet, but there's always time. Just for Jason. Jason loves it when we talk about
Jason
cats.
Has been asking in the chat box how many likes have we got, and
this is true. I've got to kind of build up to it.
Okay.
Try my Welsh accent.
Yeah, don't make me do the Welsh accent again, because it's embarrassing.
Although I did see that Jason had a confession in that chat box as well. He's not actually Welsh. It's all a facade.
He's Irish, isn't he? That's why he's after my mum.
Yeah, I think that's it. However, right, guys, we have got 283 of you watching right now. 278. Oh, God, this isn't going well. We've lost 5 already. Give us some likes, bitches. Please.
If that doesn't do it, nothing will.
I don't think you're allowed to call the chat box bitches. Also, we should also apologise to all the people who listen later and listen on iTunes and SoundCloud that have to suffer this bit. It's normally Jason who does it and makes it funny, but now it's me and Josh going, please give us likes.
You know, the best way to not have to listen to this.
Some of them likes, you dirty bastards. I've only got 82 likes, haven't I? Hey, there's 274,000 of you here. I want more likes. Do you hear me?
You went from Welsh to Indian to Anthony Hopkins Welsh. That was very weird.
Sorry.
Josh, quickly move on. Talk about football again.
No, this was more fun just to let it hang. Should we talk about Matt Ritchie and that clearance off the line that he did just before half time?
Yeah, I thought that was Dubravka at first. I had to keep watching it back, and I was like, how the hell did he get his head on that? Because the speed Lacazette hit the ball with was unbelievable. But yeah, that was a really good block. I actually thought Ritchie was one of their better players tonight. He got. Can I just say? I know it's like we're jumping ahead a little bit, but Miguel Almiron is the biggest overrated pile of shit I've ever seen. He is fucking garbage.
So
look, I couldn't say. Apologies if there's any Newcastle fans listening or in the chat box right now.
I like Newcastle.
I like Newcastle as well. I don't like their owner, but he's awful. What is all the hype about this bloke? I didn't want to say anything in our little WhatsApp group because I didn't want to jinx it. But Jesus Christ, he looked Mustafi. Maybe Mustafi looked like Pele. Not Pele. Maldini at times. There we go. Mustafi did not look like Pele when he tried to cross the ball. Let's clarify that.
Oh dear.
Sorry, but the clearance from Ritchie was really good.
That's all right. Cheers, John. Danny, do you reckon you could have got there?
I don't remember seeing it. I think at one point my the thing that I used to watch games wouldn't work on anything. I had to log out, log back in again, and then yes, I didn't see it. But
if we wheeled you across the line at the right time, it was the perfect height. You could have just put your nut on it.
Oh, well, there you go then. That definitely sorted, especially if I can get the government to sort me out a new 4x4. I'll tell you what, Andy Cole is definitely smuggling peanuts there in his mouth.
That's not what smuggling peanuts means.
It's not, John. You're a dirty boy. He looks like he's been overdoing the gluten. Someone needs to give him an EpiPen quickly.
Oh, God. But they've given him a kidney. Give him that.
Oh, fair enough.
Let's go into the second half whilst we don't talk about Andy Cole's medical conditions. 49th minute, I've got a Rambo, Iwobi, Kolasinac showboating central, not mugging everybody in the Newcastle box. Maitland-Niles then goes down clutching his right knee. Were you worried for him, Danny, at that point? I think I've got you talking about both our fullbacks this evening. What do you reckon to Maitland-Niles?
It didn't seem to be in too much pain when he went down, and then when he was laying there, he was holding his leg, giving a bit of a rub. You know, like when you've opened the kitchen drawer and it's hit. Well, when I open the kitchen drawer, I hit myself in the face, but you hit yourself in the knee. So it seemed to be a little bit of one of those. So I did think it was a bit worrying, especially when the camera then went to Jenkinson, and Jenkinson was warming up, because there's a little known fact, Jenkinson has played 69 games for Arsenal. We have won every single one. So I think maybe Emery, don't Wikipedia or Google that or Yahoo, and definitely don't ask Jeeves. So I was expecting him to come on and make sure that we like a lucky rabbit's foot, unlucky for the rabbit. He's got 3 other feet. So I was a little bit concerned, because much like Kolasinac, this playing fullbacks thing, wing-backs, is working wonderfully. If we'd have said at the beginning of the season that we're coming towards the with 8 games of the season, the league season left to go, and we will be relying on Kolasinac on the left wing-back, and we were playing on Maitland-Niles conservative on the right wing-back, he'd have gone, well, what's going on? That's not going to work. But it's working superbly. So, yes, I was quite worried.
Thank you.
That was a concise answer.
It was. And a big thank you to Jim Howson as well, who for another donation, who has said Mustafi had a good game. Is it time to back him? Jim, I would save your money to buy some glasses. I don't think he was that good.
Oh, I might actually defend Mustafi despite his hilarious cross.
Well, I started the show.
Yeah, I thought he was okay today. I didn't think he was that bad. I think he's anything he does wrong, any mistake, is magnified tenfold, kind of like Ozil's was in that period when there was more people hating on him than there currently is. So, yeah, I don't think he had that bad a game. To be fair, Newcastle offered exactly fuck all, and he had that Mong Almiron playing in front of him, so it was a pretty easy job.
As you're on for defending the indefensible at the moment, I'll try and get you to defend the Nacho booking that we then saw.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. The whole game, the referee was... I mean, you said earlier about him letting things go. That's... like I don't mind that. That's okay. I kind of enjoy that because I think it doesn't break up the flow or anything, and you can keep the speed of the game going. That's really good. But there was so many challenges, not just from Newcastle players, from Arsenal players as well, where their studs were showing, and they either pulled out last minute or they, didn't quite get the ball and play carried on and no one was caught or anything. But generally this season you have seen, and it's not just been Taylor, it's been every single ref, it's been all throughout the league, that those fouls, whether they make contact or not, they get pulled up straight away, and it's either a stern talking to or a yellow card. None of them were given. The first time, Monreal does it in the second half, actually gets the ball. His studs aren't all the way up as exaggerated as a lot of the other players, and he gets a yellow card for it. It was just bizarrely inconsistent. It didn't make any sense. I don't necessarily have a problem with the booking, because I think to the letter of the law and the way they deem dangerous tackles and stuff now, it probably is a yellow if you strict bang by the lines. But the fact that none of the others were given and they were just kind of ignored, not even mentioned, was really, really weird.
Yeah, definitely. Danny, let's move into, we saw our first substitute of the game. Iwobi came off for Aubameyang. What do you reckon to Iwobi's performance today?
I will quote the man, the legend, the myth, Mr. Goonerholic in our WhatsApp group. I didn't even know Iwobi was playing. There you go. So, Yeah, it was a little bit weird, but you can't play brilliantly every game. And he has had such a good season. I think times like this, you can let him away with it. But you remember at times during that game, they had 8 or 9 players in the box. And when you've got that many, you can spread that defensive line out really wide to both wings. And I think that's why Iwobi was struggling, because if he's going to go and decide to make a run down the left-hand wing and try and take on a couple of players, there is going to be 2-3 players around him. Like I said earlier, that bit in my brain that I remember where Kolasinac was taking on 2 players, and then he got the ball past them, then he kicked it, and it come off of one of their players, and he went after it again, and next time he went after it, there was 3 of their players there. You really are going to struggle as a creative player playing against a team like that. So and playing so defensively. So he had a quiet game, but that's the wonderful thing about our squad at the moment. You can take him off, you can bring on somebody else, and we've got such versatility. Whether we want to play 2 up front like we did against Rennes when we played them, we beat them 3-0. We went from playing 2 up front to then playing 1 up front with playing Mkhitaryan and Iwobi behind them, stretching the team out. So if we're not going to beat you one way, we're going to beat you another way. And it is absolutely magnificent that this time of the season we have only got 2.5 injuries. Welbeck should be back maybe before the end of the season. The players that are out injured, we've got easily covered for them. And I've said all season, like many people have, we have got the 3 parts of the team: the defence, the midfield and the attack. When all 3 sections of the team start to click together, which they have done in this recent run, then you couldn't pick a better time for them lot to click towards the end of his first season, with the run in for the Europa League and for the Premier League. And people are going to come and play us, whether it's home or away, and they're going to be worried because, like you were saying, Iwobi has a bad game, bring on Mkhitaryan and then try different stuff. It's just fantastic.
Nice. Thank you, Sean, for the donation. Tottenham Hotspur, we don't have trophies, but we've got shitty beer. It's true. And they don't even have a cheese room anymore. That was like the top selling point of going there as well. Haven't even got it. And did you see the state of some of their legends? Anyway, let's move through there. Do you want to cover the Dummett maybe handball? John, was it maybe handball?
Look, I know, again, I've already got abuse for defending Taylor vaguely over one decision. If you're giving a handball for that, fuck off. Really? You can't give a penalty for that. If they start giving penalties for that, all I'm going to do as a player is I'm just going to run. I'm not even going to look at the goal. I'm just going to run in the 18-yard box with the ball, wait for a defender to slide and just kick it at his arm. You cannot give a penalty for that. That's ridiculous. Look, I'm all for players appealing for it, especially if there are. Great, but no, it's never a penalty.
That's what I thought as well. To be fair, I think Lacazette was the only man in the stadium. Maybe Guendouzi, because he does seem the kind of kid that will go into peer pressure to impress the big boys and call for it as well.
It's the only reason for that haircut.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about that haircut, Ramsey came off to be joined by the mini Guendouzi. Elneny came on, the lesser spotted Elneny. What did you reckon to his performance, John, in that second half when he came on?
No, I don't want to be. He's all right, isn't he? I don't know what to say about Elneny because he's not an exciting player, and let's be honest, I don't even think he'd be in the squad tonight if it wasn't for the fact that Torreira had his suspension. He's an okay squad player that you can bring on for 20 minutes in a game against Newcastle when you just need to see it out. That's his level. That's fine. Hopefully he's the sort of player we move on from and upgrade. He didn't do anything wrong. There you go. That's what I say. He passed the ball sideways very, very nicely.
Hey, that's the Egyptian Jimmy Milner we're talking about there.
Oh, hey, look, I know Milner plays for Liverpool, but that's harsh on Milner.
Hey, I'm just thinking of an average player. Thank you, Tierno Barry, as well. An appreciation for Unai and us, I can assume, as well. Also going to mention there are 336 of you now watching, but only 113 likes. I mean, I'm not great at maths. There seems to be a little bit of a difference between here. Mind the gap.
What if we get Jay? He might be in bed. That's the threat. Sort it out. We're going to go and get Jace on the call live from his bed. That's
true. Mind the gap, boys.
Marmite everywhere knowing him. Dirty boy.
Let's get this figure closer to 300. I reckon Jace is always good at putting a target out for you guys, isn't he? So let's say 150. We're at 125 at the moment. So
you got to
tappy,
go higher than
tappy,
that. You got to go
tappy,
higher than that.
tappy. Baby steps, John. Jace is coming back.
Oh,
He'll get up to 175.
You've angered him.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, guys. As Loki said, 33% likes. You know, we want it up near Ozil passing stats kind of percentage. Next, I've just seen my next note and I couldn't help but laugh because it's the Mustafi cross. It's the comeback of the Wenger era crossing.
Can we just move on from that one? Because
I mean,
this is the try not to bash Mustafi show because he did all right tonight.
Much like the traffic on the M25 will swerve away from that cross.
Hey, look, to be fair, that might be the first time he's got a round of applause from everyone in the Emirates for a very long time.
It's true. To be fair, as I say, it was those kind of crosses Sanya would put in 10 for a penny every game for us.
The thing that made it even worse was like it was literally a minute after Aubameyang had put in a brilliant ball for Lacazette that Dubravka came out and cleared really, really well. So that just made it look 10 times worse.
Yeah, poor guy. He can't catch a break, can he? Kolasinac, yellow card for dissent, I think, just from his general moaning of, you know, Anthony Taylor existing, I think was why he got that yellow for that one. Moving into the 73rd minute, we've got that fierce shot from Aubameyang. What do you reckon to his introduction, Danny? Yeah.
What, as in why we brought him on, or was the way that he ran on the...
Yeah, he came on and that kind of shot and how he kind of changed the play for us.
It's brilliant. Like we were answering your last question about Iwobi, that we've got so many players, whether you want to bring Aubameyang on and he can play left wing, the outside left forward, which is what we do play quite often when we play one up front. Then he can, during the game, remember like Thierry Henry, you could play him out wide, you could play him up front, you could even play him in the support role. Aubameyang has spent the whole of his career building up to the point where you are the first choice goalkeeper, fucking hell. You're the first choice striker for your country, for every team you've played at. And he's come to Arsenal and he's gone, not only am I not going to be first choice striker, I'm going to be asked to play out of position. And just the amount of respect and love that him and Lacazette have got for each other just makes me weep. It's like seeing baby kittens suckling together. It's wonderful. So you must be Newcastle and you're thinking, fucking hell, we've been running around for the last however long. What is it, 70 minutes he came on after? It's going to check here. He came on in 61 minutes. I was 9 minutes out. And so you've been running around for an hour going, fucking hell, these are turning us inside out. If it wasn't for the referee, we'd be about 6-0 down by now. And then going, right, I think we got them contained. We got it down to 1-0. It's looking, oh, fucking hell, they're bringing on Aubameyang. Oh, we're fucked. We thought it was all right when Elneny was coming on, and now they brought Aubameyang on. How the hell? I mean, even if they stopped to half time and they pedded themselves up like certain players at certain clubs that have got 1 point from the last 15 are allegedly doing, even if they'd have had like when it's really hot and then the referee has water breaks like we used to have in the World Cup, and they go, well, everyone have a water break. They needed a pedded up break because there's no way they were going to be able to deal with Aubameyang running rings around them like that. And it worked. And that's a superb substitution. And it just shows the quality of the teammatesness and the squad togetherness that our team has got, that you have got the likes of Aubameyang not starting and he's happy to come on and get an assist, and Lacazette is happy to go off or they're happy to play together. Everything at the moment is brilliantly, and is working brilliant. And all the Emery naysayers, they're now sitting there and eating cold porridge with worms.
Talking about that kind of Lacazette and Aubameyang combination, John, should we talk through the moment where a pirate was glazed like a Krispy Kreme after Lacazette knocked the keeper?
Yeah, I mean, it was a beautiful goal. I get the frustration every time Lacazette scores because I love the player; he's amazing, but it makes Chris happy, and that annoys me. So it's a real double-edged sword. But yeah, the finish was brilliant. Right, the thing with it is when you see it first time, you think, "Wow, that's absolutely amazing," and I really don't want to take anything away from the goal, but I actually think Lacazette, like his little flick, I don't think he means for it to go quite that high up in the air. And Aubameyang's header is, it's guided, it's directed and everything. It's in the right direction. But it's kind of more hopeful than anything. And it's just the brilliant finish from Lacazette. It's an amazing finish. But I don't know, is it like amazing 1-2 or is it like garbage defending from Newcastle and just a really, really good finish from Lacazette? Because I felt a little bit sorry for Dubravka because I thought he had an excellent game. but the chip over him was just was beautiful. And I love how those two link up anyway. Even if I do think the 1-2 was a little bit off and not quite as intended to look as it did, the finish was great. But it made Chris happy, so it's like, I don't know.
Danny, if you could describe that goal in a single word, what word would you use?
Fandabidozi.
Lovely stuff.
How about you? Where would you describe it?
I think filth would be the word I'd use. It was utter filth. And I believe everybody in my block of flats heard me scream that.
Was it more filth than the one that Lacazette nearly scored?
You mean Aubameyang?
No, when Lacazette, he got the ball and turned around, didn't he?
Oh, that one.
Oh, yeah.
Had to gone, and you'd have had to move again. I mean, you're in witness protection as it is. You've been in witness protection for the other witnesses that have seen the murders.
Yeah, this is actually a fake face I've got on here, and I can just peel it off, and I'm actually a lizard. Ozil,
he'll be on you.
Ozil, the man of the match that Sky gave him for that, came off Mkhitaryan. What do you reckon to his game today, Ozil, for Ozil, John? John almost called you Ozil.
I don't know if I should be pleased with that or not. No, I'm joking. I'd be very honoured to be called Ozil. He was really good tonight. He was brilliant. He was getting on the ball, he was getting involved, he was making things happen. He was going past players. His little passes, he was trying to get on the end of things. There was a really, really nice move in the first half. I think Kolasinac put it in, really rifled it in, and he just couldn't quite reach it. It would have really been like an amazing goal. Really nice team move. Another one with a cross where he's just a little bit above him for a header. And he's added that to his game, trying to break into the box a bit more. And I think that's the one thing you see when we change the system, when we go to one up front and Ozil's been playing, he tends to get into the box more and try to get on the end of things a little bit more. And that helps with the fullbacks we've got overlapping. When Aubameyang came on, obviously, he had the two strikers and he adopts more of his natural sort of link up and trying to feed the play. But yeah, he was all round tonight, really, really good. And look, I've said all season, as much as he annoys me, I'm not a fan of his, and I do think we'd probably be better off selling in the long run if if he plays well and to his level, then we'll get top four and we have a really, really good chance of winning the Europa League because we're a better team with him in the side. It's obvious, you don't have to be a genius to see that. And we know how well he can play with Ramsey as well. The wing backs running onto him for him, giving him those options for those passes. I think Iwobi, although he didn't have the best game ever, I think he enjoys playing with him as well because he is someone who's going to move and give him that option for a pass. So, yeah, well deserved. I think you could have given it to Ramsey or Ozil tonight, I think, for man of the match.
Yeah, I think I agree. They were both on a par. I was a little bit surprised that Ozil got it because I think maybe just the way that, Sky commentators normally look at players and how they play the game, that Ramsey seemed like a shoe-in for it.
Yeah.
The Sky brought up this little stat and it had 5 individual stats and first. So, yeah, it's good for Ozil, though. Ramsey doesn't need a little pat on the back like that. Ramsey knows how good it is, but someone who is a confidence player like Ozil seems to be of late that it's really good. It's going to keep the players off his back and the fans off of his back as well, which is
I think that's the other good thing about it is when he came off, the sort of applause he got from the crowd. I think he, like Danny said, he is that kind of player who feeds off that kind of thing, and it does build his confidence, and he'll carry that into games. Ramsey is more of a, although he can be up and down sometimes, he's quite professional and focused and just tends to get on with things. But Ozil needs that little bit of a boost sometimes, so I think that will really help.
Sean in our chat box has put on American TV, Ramsey got NBC's man of the match. So
yeah, I think it was genuinely a toss-up between the two of them. I think they're probably giving it Ozil just literally because he was on the pitch for longer in the end, so he ended up contributing a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in terms of end products, we saw a bit more from Ramsey, whereas Ozil was, kind of pulling the strings.
Yeah.
Ramsey was kind of finishing it off for him. Maybe down to Xhaka missing today. We saw Ozil in that more kind of metronome kind of position. 85th minute, another disallowed goal, this time for Lacazette. I've got 3 reasons why it might have been given. Handball,
Taylor's an arse.
foul on keeper, and yeah, Taylor's a cunt. Danny, which one of those 3 did you think?
It's I think it was completely different to the first one because Sky have got this new thing where it's like a set of 3. I'm holding my hands up. I don't know why people at home can't listen or on the tractor. It's like a very foggy, like the bloke on the Titanic had those goggles where they rounded edges and it looks really unconvincing. They have that from the referee's point of view and they're moving around. And like you were saying, the referee couldn't see the handball from the point Ramsey's from Ramsey's goal that was disallowed. Was it Ramsey's goal was disallowed? Yeah, it was. Or was it Lacazette? Anyway, I can't remember. But the second one,
goal scorers had goals disallowed.
Yes, I'm on about the first one. When I don't like that new thing that Sky do to try and give you the referee's point of view. But as for the second one, it did look like that Lacazette stood there and the goalkeeper wrapped himself around Lacazette and then went, "Oh, referee, it's not fair." Well, it's impeding the referee, I suppose, isn't it? And that's what John's going to say. And I suppose that is right. It doesn't really matter, does it? I'm not going to say end of the day because it applies no matter what the time of day. So it's annoying that these things are constantly being picked up with when it's us. If that would have been Spurs, Man City, Liverpool, that would have been a penalty for them, probably, for us.
Yeah, I think. What the hell are you talking about, Danny?
Right. I will very quickly say on that, Josh.
Yes.
That goal should have been allowed. I don't agree with the referee. I know, shock horror. I have no idea why he's given that as a foul. The goalkeeper just got himself in a terrible position. Lacazette didn't foul him. If anything, the Newcastle defender was fouling Lacazette. The only thing I would not agree with is if it was Chelsea or Liverpool or blah, 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 they would have got it. That fucking thing does my nut in. But yeah, there you go.
I'm talking about Chelsea, Liverpool, or...
No, don't do it. Don't do it. He's not there.
He's gone now. Your opinion doesn't matter, Pete. That's all I'll say. That was the end of the game. 2-0. We've gone third. We're above Spurs. St. Tottering's Day. It's going to happen, isn't it, boys? It's going to happen.
Of course it is. They're throwing it away. He's already said. I mean, I didn't celebrate Salah claiming a goal that probably wasn't his on Sunday, but a little bit of me inside went, yee! I was excited, but I didn't want to do it because, Liverpool. Yeah, so we all knew they were going to collapse. I mean, look, their fans were crying when they saw a new stadium, like they'd never seen a football stadium before, for fuck's sake. Can you imagine what they'd do if they ever even got close to seeing a trophy? They wouldn't know what to do, would they? No. They'll fall apart. They always do.
They did get a trophy. They got the golden boot, didn't they? The World Cup. And then they tried to. They went full Emirates Cup and didn't even win the trophy that they staged at their own stadium where they picked the opponents. Classic North London era. That.
Oh dear. Chat box. We've just done the game. It means we're going into questions. If you've got any questions, stick them in the chat box, and we will pick them up. John and Danny have already been scooping up a few that we've spotted in there, but we will continue to pick them up. And also, if you can give us some likes, because we're nearly at 150, and I don't want to have to get Jace up again because he's probably making his peanut butter sandwiches for tomorrow morning.
John, it doesn't have peanut butter sandwiches, it's tuna and onion. And chatbox, seriously, get the fucking likes up because this is disgraceful.
I always grill Jace on what sandwiches.
Yeah. It is not good enough. This is terrible. Oh, actually, technically, we have got over 150 because we've got 5 dislikes. So, that's fine.
That brings it down. That's not how goal difference works, John.
I can't do maths, Josh.
Do you want to take the questions?
I will take the questions just quickly before I do. Brent Bloomberg with the donation. Thank you very much, Brent. Thanks, boys. Always enjoy your talks on the way to work. Well, glad we can cheer you up on your way to work. That's very good. Chatbox, do keep coming in with your questions and we will grab them. Already got some here. So I will start with, and I scroll to the top and I fill airtime because no one likes that airtime. There we go. Junior Gunner. With Nelson and Emil Smith-Rowe and talks of a new winger and talks of a new winger, limit Iwobi to just a squad player role. Josh, what do you reckon? Because you are a big Iwobi fan.
Oh, I don't mind him being in that kind of position of Iwobi to take, squad role. I don't think he should be our main creative player. Let's put it that way, because he isn't at this moment in time good enough for that. He could always get better. I don't think Nelson and Smith Rowe are actually good enough to be playing Premier League football more than maybe outside of 5 or 10 games, against that kind of bottom team. If we need to, for injuries or certain games that are coming up that requires us to rotate players out. I almost expect at least one of those to go out on a proper loan next season as well. I was watching Smith Rowe do his kind of interview while he was out with Leipzig and meeting up with Reiss Nelson. I think that was really interesting in terms of his development, not only off the field, on the field, but off it as well, seeing as he's injured at the moment. And I think to continue that kind of growing of him, we'll see him out. So I'd still expect to see, Iwobi in there. And bear in mind, he's starting ahead of Denis Suarez as well. I think we've got another player in that squad whose position might be in jeopardy to youngsters rather than Iwobi.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. I think both those guys will probably get a loan out again. Most likely, they need the game time. They're at that age where they've got to be playing against men rather than, younger guy or that under 23 level, which is just not physical enough. Danny, one for you from Tronry. Is happening again? Will they always? Oh, it is happening again. Will they always be shit? I will take finishing 4th over 3rd if it means that lot finish 5th. Oh, and a Europa League Cup, please. That would be a wonderful season. That wasn't even a question, Danny. You were just saying it.
He did. There was more question marks after everything, but once I cut and pasted it, they kind of disappeared. He did put it to us and the podcast, so I think it's part statement and part wishes. And so yes, it is happening again. Yes, they will always be shit. I don't want 4th over 3rd. Actually, there's no qualifying round now, is there, for the Champions League? No. So 4th is just as good. As long as they don't end up in the Champions League next season, there's a fine line to be treaded here. We'd like them to have no money, but we don't want them to be bankrupt and then become an oily club, because then they'll just buy everything. So just teetering on the edge of having to sell their best players to keep alive, and then back to the good old days where they finish mid-table.
So kind of Crystal Palace, West Ham level.
Back where they belong.
There we go. That will cheer up the West Ham and Crystal Palace fans as well.
I like Palace, though.
I don't mind Palace. Yeah, Ian Wright played for him. There you go. Mark Bright as well. He's a nice guy. Josh, one for you from Thomas from Norway. Is Emery actually a great manager?
Oh, I don't think he's a great manager. He hasn't got the kind of, I think, pedigree of the elite managers in terms of, I don't think he's won enough yet to be put into that top tier. 3 European trophies in a row, though, is no record to be sniffed at. But I don't think he's in that top echelon yet. Premier League title, maybe a Champions League, couple of FA Cups. I think that's the kind of record that, he can become a great manager with us. And I think that's more of how we've seen, even just, the Arsenal kind of years with players. Our great players didn't come to us as great players. They kind of grew with us, and I think I can see Emery doing exactly the same.
Good answer. Danny, one from Piyush Kapoor. Always has good questions. Assuming we finish 3rd or 4th this season, what position do you think we would have finished if we had got a world-class defender at the beginning of the season and the current players are the same? So, whether we, got someone different to Socrates, or we still got Socrates, but we also got, a big name centre-back, be it a Van Dijk or whoever, as he's the one that's always touted.
Well, our home form has been almost perfect. Lost 1 game all season, drawn 2, won the rest. So that's not the problem. I don't think the problem is personnel, although you could probably put it down partly to personnel. I think the main problem was Emery changing tactics from game to game. The perfect example is we lose 3-1 to Rennes. A couple of weeks later, comes back, beaten 3-0 because he changed his tactics. We lose to Man United 3-1 in the FA Cup. A month later, we get them again. We beat them 2-0. It's a process of developing his tactics and knowing what to do. We all know that he's made mistakes. He's learning from them mistakes at an alarmingly quick rate. That's the kind of stuff that have taken Wenger 3 seasons to learn. It's just a process of eliminating what doesn't work And like we all said before the season started, when we were talking about how well he's going to do, he has no experience of playing in the Premier League against Premier League teams and all that kind of stuff. So when other managers will go and go, oh, I played these 2 seasons ago, this player does that, this team does that, we need to do this to counteract it. Next season is when you'll really be able to see Emery, when we're playing away from home, will go, well, I've got an entire season's worth of experience playing against these teams. So I would say the number one reason was doing his tactics, and then the second reason would have been a defender. It would have been nice, but then if those other players wouldn't have got injured, then we'd be going, well, we've got a world-class player. Holding is getting, his growth isn't becoming what we want it to be. We paid 35 million for Mustafi. We didn't expect Koscielny to come back and be like a new signing, that age-old phrase that we all love. So yeah, I'm going to go with tactics. Now, plus tactics won't cost us 50 million quid.
Fair enough. I'm just going to very quickly answer this one. Pete Colson asks, can someone definitely say what would happen if Chelsea win the Europa League and we came 4th? Would we miss out on Champions League? The answer to that is yes. Each league can only have 4 teams enter, and they have to give the Europa League winner a spot. I believe unless Liverpool won the Champions League?
No, it's 5.
Is it 5 now?
You can have 5 in the Champions League.
Okay.
But
sorry. If we'd finished, there is a possible way where we miss out, isn't there?
It's if City win the Champions League, it's that does it. If the UK, the Premier League has both European Cup winners in it, whoever finished 4th doesn't go.
There we go. League. I've officially lost my hipster mantle, and Josh is taking it from me because he knows all the UEFA facts now. He's read the rule book.
Yeah, I've shaved my beard. That's what it is now.
Right, a few more questions. We'll whiz through these a little bit quicker. One from Lotus. People like Arsblog feel Emery is fine and good, but not one to win us the league. But if he takes us into the Champions League this year, when exactly is the right time to go and find us a league winner of a manager, Josh?
Oh, it links into the last kind of question as well. I think I'll just kind of continue with that bit, that I think he can kind of grow with us. So we don't necessarily have to kind of go, oh, thanks for the memories, Emery, and move on to another shinier model, shall we say. Because I think, to be honest, when we were looking at managers in the summer, the kind of names we were putting out there were the kind of like Nagelsmann, Jardim, no one said Emery, but you know what I mean. It was those kind of managers, and none of those are truly like league winner managers. I think Jardim, he got it with Monaco, but other than that, I think it's a case of, it would still be a big step of going from winning a league with Monaco to try and win the Premier League. So I think it's that kind of thing that, he could probably grow with us and become a league winning manager.
Yeah, no, I mean, you kind of answered it in the previous question, but I do think he could improve with us to then hopefully go on. Because I must admit, when he first came in, I didn't think he's going to be someone who could win us the league, but maybe in years to come. But we'll see where we go. Pete Colson asks, Stan will not spend a cent on us this summer, so who should we crowdfund? David Brooks from Bournemouth to help Jason's Welsh grieving heart, or Dembele for Captain Chris, or someone else? Look, we've got loads of French players already. Jason's going to be unbearable, so it's got to be David Brooks. It's very easy.
We all know that FIFA take pride, and it wouldn't be that hard to get Dembele a Welsh passport. That's all I'm saying. Best of both.
That's true. Oh no, who's the Welsh kid at Swansea? No, the other one, the rapid one.
Daniel James.
There we go. We get him. It'll be cheaper. David Brooks will cost loads of money. Just British. Right, formerly knows at arse, Danny. It's hypothetical, but did we dodge a? Let's see what Danny says. It's hypothetical, but did we dodge a bullet in Sarri, or has he done better?
Fuck Sarri ball.
Rude, very rude. I'm a big Sarri fan. I like Sarri.
He is a dirty, stinking, awful tramp.
You don't like him because he smokes. He
looks fucking hard. I don't like anybody who smokes, but he's a dirty. He looks bloody homeless when he's chewing on old fag butts. Get out, you dirty homeless shitbag. No.
You think Xhaka
stinks? Oh, imagine it. Oh,
imagine the stick Jorginho would have got from our fan base.
Jorginho.
I can just imagine every single show coming on here explaining, I know he's the deepest midfielder, but he's not the defensive one. and trying to say it over and over again and just saying, please go and watch Napoli when they did. Yeah, but Sarri's not rubbish. He's just in a very unfortunate situation at that club. I will admit he's very stubborn, but I like Sarri.
Pep could be manager of Chelsea at the moment, and they'd be wanting him out after 6 months.
Oh, yeah, they're a weird bunch. There you go. Anyway, Junior Gunner, for ABW, win the Premier League next season or win the Champions League within 3 years? Quick fire round. Josh, what would you rather?
Champions League.
Danny?
Champions League.
Oh, really? You don't like the Champions League?
I've become a turncoat. I want Champions League glory. Fuck the Premier. You're never going to win the Premier League as long as Chelsea and Man City have got more money than they know what to do with, and they've got an entire big stack of brown envelopes that they're giving away.
I want the Premier League. I think it's harder to win the Champions League, but there you go. Andy Rhodes, where does Chambers fit in next season? Is he good enough, Danny?
He has been transformed a little bit at Fulham to be playing a defensive midfielder. When he was at Middlesbrough and got relegated, he was playing right back, centre back. He is now a utility player, which is what we could have done with this season. So I'd keep him and have him as a utility player that can play anywhere.
But you weren't supposed to answer it that quickly.
We've got to do it in under an hour to show Jason it can be done. We've got 5 minutes.
Okay. One from Alonso Spencer for you, Josh. What was the point of getting Denis Suarez, and will he play against Napoli?
Oh, I don't know. Emery did say that he's now finally ready, didn't he? In terms of after taking him out to, where did we go? Dubai. Did we go to Dubai? I always get
Dubai, UAE. Yeah.
I always get them mixed up. Sorry, no offense, everybody who's based out there. I just get them confused. One's a glorified Trafford Centre, and the other one is a big country.
I think you made it worse, but carry on.
Yeah, probably have. I'm not too sure on why we've got him in, or the fact that now saying he's ready to play games doesn't seem like you'd get a January signing in short term and then not play them till the end of April, if you didn't have, or beginning of April, unless you had an idea that perhaps you're going to keep him beyond the summer. I don't think we're like a rehabilitation unit for Barcelona in that kind of regard. I think they've got Ajax to do that now for them. So, yeah, I'm not sure if he'll play against Napoli, but I could see him play perhaps in some of the games in between. We do have quite a nice run though in terms of between our games. I think it's quite nice, the fixture list.
I'm going to say he won't play against Napoli. If he does get any game time, it will be from the bench. But Emery has made me look like an idiot many a time this season because I never get his lineups correct. But there you go. Nicky Wilson asks, oh no, sorry, I've missed one. K-Man 1867, following on from that, do you think Arsenal will purchase Suarez? The lad has nice talent, just hadn't had game time. I don't think we'll buy him, if I'm honest. I think he'll end up back at Barcelona. I think the fee they want is probably too high for what we're willing to pay, although Emery is a fan. But then I'm not sure why he wouldn't be playing anyway. Is he maybe trying to lay the foundation for when Ramsey leaves and he's another option there? Who knows? I don't think we'll get him though. Nicky Wilson, sorry. He asked, should Arsenal up the capacity of the Emirates to have more than Spurs in the summer, Danny?
Haven't we already done that? We were removing some of the middle tier of seats, moving them back a little bit so we can get an extra 1,000 in. Didn't we announce that a little bit after Spurs announced that they were their size of their stadium? They can't fill theirs anyway. There was a tweet going around that you have to have a minimum of 45,000 in that stadium as a percentage to get your safety certificate. Jesus, I nearly didn't say that. I need a new tooth. And they didn't make it, but it's the FA and they'll let them away with it. But I think we already have done that. I think ours has gone up by 1,000.
All right. Okay. There you go. I did not know that. It's nice to see that football clubs are as petty as us fans.
I think it was one of Ivan's last things that he did was to put an extra 1,000 in the direction.
There we go.
So you've heard it as well, Josh?
Box. Sorry?
Have you heard it as well, or are you just agreeing with me?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Mr. Holick said we extended club level. Mr. Holick knows all.
Hey, there you go. There's his blog. I've put his blog in there, people. I'm going to put it in there again. Go give David's blog a read. It's straight after the game, The Man's a Legend. And he'll be on tomorrow's podcast. But don't tell anyone.
Yeah, and if you're not watching live and you are listening, they made their seats smaller. Sorry. If you are listening later, go check out goonerholic.com. David has some great blogs on there. Michael Hannum asked 2 more questions. Would you loan out Eddie next season and bring in a third striker of the same quality as Aubameyang and Lacazette, or do we give Eddie more game time next season? Josh,
let's loan out Eddie. Of his performances he's put in this season, I'm not sure. I'm on the fence now of whether or not he's good enough for Arsenal. He's not really pushed on, and I think it's one of those. He just needs game time, to be honest, in front of, as you said before, in front of men rather than in front of boys every week. Because he's in that horrible lull now where he's too good for the under-21s, and we've got players coming through there now, and he's not good enough to get into our starting 11, and we don't have the games anymore. To really let him go, especially if we make Champions League. We're not going to have the likes of, I don't know, let me name a European side that somehow qualify for the Champions League next season and go into the group we're in, like Barto Borisov. Someone like that. We don't have those games that we can play in. So sending him to the Championship, sending him to Germany, France, wherever, the boy needs a loan, basically.
Yeah, I think if Welbeck didn't get his injury, then maybe he would have gone out in January, and that would have been the difference. So, there you go. 2 more points to take, and then Danny has a little shout to do, little notice. So, last question is to you, Danny. What's your favourite day? Christmas, birthday, or St. Totteringham's Day?
Christmas Day. I hate my birthday because people want to buy me shit that I don't want. If I want it, I've already got it. Christmas Day, I love it because
no one cares about your birthday, Danny. They just want to know what your favourite day is, not your worst day.
No, I'm explaining my explanation. St. Totteringham's Day. We've had so many of them over the years. They're just meaningless now.
You've had as many Christmas days as you.
Yeah, but my mum doesn't come round on Christmas Day and make me a big roast, does she? And I don't have to get up on Christmas Day. I have to get up at 10 a.m. I fucking hate it.
Oh, my word.
Yeah. But the point is, if you get St. Tottenham Day a couple of times every millennium, then it's going to mean more to you than someone who gets it nearly every year.
What, like a birthday?
or Jesus' birthday. Right, Danny, do you want to do your announcement quickly? And then I've got one more thing before I hand it back to Josh.
Right. Is anybody going to mention Rocky?
That's what I was going to do, actually. That was my announcement. Right, yes. Michael Hanneman put it in the chat, but yeah, good point. A big shout out and rest in peace to Rocky. It's nice to see the fans tribute today. Yeah, fans in the club always do bring up Rocky, and they said they would never forget him, and we never do. So if you're a younger fan or you never got to see Rocky play, I didn't get to see him play for Arsenal. Like back when he was, obviously I've gone back and watched videos and stuff. Go and check him out. He's an amazing player and just an amazing human being as well. It's a lovely documentary as well with Ian Wright talking about him and them growing up together. So yeah, always nice to see that from the fans, and they certainly won't forget.
Yeah, he signed for Arsenal in 1982. 228 games, 34 goals. George Graham got rid of him, slight knee injury, so he flogged into Leeds. He was at Leeds for a while. Then he went to Chelsea. Then he went to Chelsea and Man City, and then he went off to play in a few other teams. Ended up playing in Malaysia and 14 caps for England. Absolutely magnificent players. Like we look back at Ian Wright and Mickey Thomas and Kevin Campbell, Paul Dozer, one of our own, one of the young players, Tony Adams, and all that lot. They all come through the club, and he died at age 33 in 2001 from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And one of the nicest blokes in football, and it's just such an absolute tragedy that someone passed away. And the day that he passed away, we were playing Spurs, and that is the only time we Spurs any credit for anything. They all give us a minute's silence, and they all give us a standing ovation for him when they heard it. And it was a magnificent day, and to be there was really, really, really good. But so sad. But the other couple of things I need to mention is all of our podcasts now are going to be recorded like this, but not live, with cameras, and they'll be on YouTube. So if you usually listen to iTunes, you can now go and listen to us on YouTube with the videos and stuff like that. It won't be live. And the same, we do a preview game before every single a preview show before every single game. I time it to be almost exactly 15 minutes long, and I usually get people on that you aren't going to see on the podcast or the live shows too much, usually for time reasons. Yesterday we had Dom on. We did it during the afternoon. We've had one where we had Mike from Gooners in the USA. We've had another one. I'm going to get Drew, our mate Drew. He's going to come and join us for 15 minutes. That's, again, it's going to be with a webcam, not live, but go and give those a watch. We just go into previous fixtures, injuries, suspensions, and what our thoughts, tactics, and all that lots on the game. So, yeah, go and have a look on there. Only on YouTube as well. So go and have a look for that.
Yeah. So the previous shows will only be on YouTube. Podcast will be on YouTube as well with webcam, but obviously it will still be uploaded in all the other usual places, your iTunes and everywhere else. So you'll still get it there if you can't watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
But that's it. So Josh, it's just over to you to wrap up the show.
Thank you very much, guys. Quick shout out to everybody that has donated this evening. That would be Unique79. I've got Yvonne, Michael Hanneman, Jim Howson. I cannot write for love nor money. Sorry, so I'm trying to read my own handwriting and filling at the same time. Sean, got Tino and Brent. Thank you very much, guys. And also to the 169 people who gave us thumbs up. The 4 people that gave us thumbs down can all go fuck themselves.
No, we like the thumbs down as well. It's all good. Up and down. Adds them all up. It all counts for the metric. All of you fuckers who didn't press the thumbs up or down, though, you can definitely... No, I'm not going to say that.
Oh, yeah, no, get off the fences. That's why Brexit's happening, guys.
We are forwarding to Jason.
Yeah, we've been a Bergkamp Wonderland. We will be back for our podcast tomorrow, which, Danny, we have got... It's you, Goonaholic, and Fempster.
Yeah, and Carl.
And Carl, of course. I forgot Carl. You know,
he's going to be late anyway. You know, trains terrible.
Yeah.
Hopefully, none of them are coming on the train. But it won't happen.
Right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And as we say, we will be back with a podcast, probably going out Tuesday or Wednesday. Danny,
about 11
it is just for you to turn this shit off.